Good afternoon, traders. This is Blake Morrow. You are listening to the week ahead video for August 16, 2020. Hope everybody's having a great weekend. I know here where I live, it's about as hot as it's ever been, and I've been complaining a lot about it. If you if you listen to me normally, this is the hottest summer we've ever had on record. So it is blazing hot where I'm at. Hopefully, it's a little cooler where you're at. But we are suffering through more of a slower summer in the FX world than I had anticipated. I thought we were going to be a little bit busier. I thought more traders would be around their computers. We'd have better liquidity, but it's been fairly quiet. But that doesn't mean there's not opportunity. So we're going to talk about that here in just a second. But before I get started, I have to mention, if you guys haven't tried out ForexAnalytix, it's real easy. So try it out. It's $1. Just click where it says sign up today. $1 for 10 days. Then you get the actual premium version while you're trying us out. It doesn't matter if you decide eventually you want to go to the light version. You still get the mobile app, so download the mobile app. And if you really want to learn how to get ForexAnalytix maybe for free for a few months, you can actually open a Pepperstone account if you're not in the United States or Canada. And once you open a live trading account and then start trading, you can get several months of ForexAnalytix for free. Pepperstone is one of the biggest FX brokers in the world, so great place to be for any trader. And if you're in the US or Canada and you want to figure out how to get cashback rebates, make sure you talk to Forest Park FX. They are our partners in our webinars. They help us out, making sure those webinars get delivered to you each and every day, trading day. All right, so let's talk about, and by the way, this is the data flash. That comes out, or that comes with your purchase of ForexAnalytix. So while you're using it, you get we saw on Friday the retail sales data came in faster on data flash than it did on Bloomberg. Which is some of you guys know it's $2,800 a month just to get that, the Bloomberg feeds, and yeah, data flash was beating it. It was crazy. Anyway, yeah, we watched it live. Go back and watch the video. It's pretty crazy. Anyway, let's talk about what's going on right now. I want to give you guys a pretty good idea of kind of where we sit, and you'll notice that by the way, this is the weekend analysis. You'll notice some of the stuff needs to be updated. Hasn't been updated yet because I'm actually broadcasting before Sunday when I normally do. I just wanted to get the video out of the way for you guys because next week's there's a few things happening, but it's more range bound in my opinion. But what you'll see is a lot of these charts haven't been updated. This one in particular, the end of week analysis has been, and we're really still looking at a range of the euro, and that range goes from 117 to basically 119. We are at the upper end of the range right now, around 11850. What I'm hoping for, and let me give you my hopes, not necessarily my what I think is going to happen, but what I'm hoping is going to happen is what I think is going to happen, what I hope happens doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen, but what I'm hoping we're going to see is a little bit of a dollar bounce before we see continued dollar weakness. So let me explain to you what I mean by that. If you look at the dollar index has been, we've been talking about this nice consolidation that we've seen here. You can see the dollar index looks pretty much like, well, you want to say between 92.50 and 94, right? I keep hoping that we'd get some sort of double bottom, but the longer we stay and we consolidate down here at these levels in the dollar index, the more likely we are to break down. Yeah, that's just bottom line, and that means the dollar index goes down, the euro dollar. I'm trying to delete this really quick. Sorry, I don't know. There we go. The more likely the euro dollar breaks, through 119, heads to 120, that type of thing. But I think a couple of key. What I'm hoping is going to happen is that we continue to see a little bit of dollar strength, just to get us one last boost up towards resistance here before turning lower. Just because I hope that's going to happen, that doesn't mean it's going to happen. But that's kind of what I'm hoping happens. We just see one more stab higher in the dollar index, and then we roll over, right? So maybe in this case, get the dollar index just above 94 and then roll back over. That means the euro would come back down towards 117 before bouncing. The cable, which has just been consolidating in a very tight range. Check out this range. I mean, we're talking holding the 38% retracement of this last move right here. You can see we're holding the 38% retracement right around 120. Well, it's basically 130. We're holding it, and eventually we're going to break above this 132 and be off to the races in the cable. The Aussie's been, as frustrating as it is, not rallying, but it's still holding up above 75. Everybody that watches the daily webinar knows that's key support for the Aussie. And the Kiwis is kind of underperforming, but still we're about ready to challenge the broken long-term trend line here. You can see that trend line comes all the way back from 2014. We're about ready to retest it, and my assumption is we're going to probably bounce off here. Really, if I had to guess, Kiwi would do something like that. But you have the dollar Canadian. Dollar Canadian actually closed Friday on its highs. This pair could eventually, head towards 133.20. That's what I'm hoping happens with the dollar Canadian. We make a rally towards 133.20, and then we've turn lower or actually break out from there. That's one of the currency pairs I really got my eye on. Something that I traded last week that I lost money on is I was buying the US dollar Mexican peso. I've been playing it on the long side the last couple of weeks. I bought it as we went through the 22.35, 22.40 level. Made some money on the upside here, and then as it dipped and we were consolidating, I was buying it again, adding, and then once it broke through the 618 retracement, I took a loss. That happened just before the Banxico meeting, where Banxico actually cut rates half a basis point as expected, and then the dollar mex actually slid, and here we are testing that channel. And I'm thinking because the Canadian actually looks pretty bullish right now, maybe the dollar mex takes a nice little bounce before heading down as well. But that's how I feel about the dollar right now. And what is happening next week that might be able to fuel some of that dollar volatility, maybe give us that initial dollar strength before some weakness. Well, on Wednesday, we have the FOMC meeting minutes, and perhaps the meeting minutes lead us to believe that the dollar might strengthen a little bit. That is possible. At the end of next week, we do have European PMIs. And so with all the European manufacturing and services PMIs at the end of the week, maybe that is the catalyst that drives us, lower towards the 117 level, or, perhaps maybe they come in stronger than expected. I mean, all of them are still expected to be in expansionary territory, most of the European PMIs. Maybe they come out better than expected, and, the euro dollar breaks through 119. That's a potential as well. One of the things that's on the horizon going into this next week that I think that everybody should, be paying pretty close attention to is that we do have the Jackson Hole Symposium at the end of the month. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it is August 30th, 29th, 30th, 31st. Is it still going to be in Jackson Hole? Is it going to be virtual? Yeah, I'm not sure. Is everybody going to be wearing masks? I'm not sure. But the symposium, in whatever form is happening. And so, we probably are going to get a better indication from the Fed about what they're going to do, which could very much influence the bond market. Now, I want to point out the bond market really quick before I let you guys go. The bond market, if you look at the 10-year, once we broke down through, I'll show you what had happened. Once the 10-year was rallying, the yields were falling, we broke through this long-term trend line, yields started to rise, and we saw this, rally back in yields. I don't know if I'd write off the bond market just yet, but coming into not the end of this week, but the end of next week, which would be at the end of the month, The Fed may talk about yield curve control, and if that's the case, we might actually get a move, big move in yields, and that could lead to, you know, this pullback. Everybody's trying to get short the bond market. You know, we could actually lead us to like a, you know, big reversal back up with the 10-year as yields fall again. So it's just something to pay attention to, which could obviously, you know, if we start to see a, you know, a rally in the bond market and yields across the curve, maybe real yields start to drop, you'd see the dollar be affected as well. And remember, the euro, I have to point out, the euro is above a multi-year trend line. It's holding. It's not the most exciting currency at this moment, but we're just consolidating some massive gains that we've seen in recent weeks. And the longer we sit here and the longer we hold these gains, the you know, all we're doing is we're just working off. You can see relative strength has just spent the last 2 weeks working off overbought conditions that can allow us to surge into new highs once again. All right, guys and gals, remember, if you like my analysis, by the way, you can catch my analysis and the rest of my team all week long on the F.A.C.E webinars. The link is in the description to register for those. They are free, so make sure you listen in, because my attitude and my perspective may be what it is right now, but things can change over the weekend. Things can change as we get into the trading week. So if you want to hear my most up-to-date analysis throughout the course of the week, listen to the F.A.C.E webinars. They are free. Also, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give us a thumbs up on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel, and make sure you share this via Twitter or social media to let other traders know what we do. I'd greatly appreciate it, and I know our team would as well. It keeps us going and providing you this analysis throughout the course of the last several years that we have been as ForexAnalytix. So guys and gals, my name is Blake Morrow with ForexAnalytix. I hope you have a great remainder of whatever weekend you have left. I'll catch you on Monday morning during the F.A.C.E webinar. Bye-bye.